The most present Dhamma is the breath. So to have your mind in the present moment, you have to follow the breath. That is the only way you can bring mind to be in the present moment. Meditation is something you do, and that should be obvious. But it is controversial. I used to go to assist my mom teaching in Philippines to the group of people that come from a different country like Vietnam, China, that they used to see many teachers coming through. Then I talk about doing concentration when my mom was on the break. Answer some question regarding the mindfulness practice. One of the question after the talk was, you talk about meditation as it is something you do, but we haven't been told. We have been told actually that you don't do anything. Mindfulness is just allowing things to arise and pass away. Concentration or jhana has to happen on its own. There is nothing you can do to induce it. I told them that I and my mom never taught like that. And I think Buddha never taught like that too. I told them that all of instruction are things to do. We keep focus on the body in and of itself, the breath in and of itself. And we put aside greed and distress with a reference to the world. Those are the things we have to do. In fact, it's very important to realize that the concentration is something we do. And the whole path is something we do. As my mom said, it's the highest fabricated Dhamma, which means it's the best thing we can do. I remember that word very well. It's still ringing in my ear. We are going to learn about the nature of actions as we do it, right? And this is the whole point of meditation or insight meditation. If we don't understand fabrication, there's no way that we are going to know when we have hit the fabricated. I used to think about the Buddha's own account of his awakening. It focused on the principle of action, how cause, how effects happen. The Buddha saw that certain action that's leading to the good rebirth or to action that led to the bad ones. Then there was a path of the action that led to the end of action, the Noble Eightfold Path. We learn about action by watching the mind as it settles down, watching the mind as it maintains concentration. As we go through the various levels, we begin to see different levels of fabrication falling away. When we are sitting down, first we have to bring a lot of things into harmony. We have got the breath and our awareness of the body. We have got the awareness itself and the feeling that go along with the breath. And we're trying to bring them all together. We are creating a state of becoming right here. And that becomes our like laboratory case. Many times we got to talk to ourselves as we are settling down. And finally come to the point where we don't have to talk to ourselves anymore. Just let that conversation goes away. And that is letting go of fabrication. And when we come to the deep concentration of fourth jhana, And that's how we see the falling away of the bodily fabrication. The breath energy gets more full in the body because of the steadiness of our focus, undisturbed by thought about the world. We can get to the point where even breathing in and breathing out seem to stop. And that's how we can actually pursue through the formless concentration or meditation, get to the point where only the mental fabrication, perception, and feeling will stop as well. The important thing is to see all these levels of the concentration as types of fabrication, because we are looking for the origination of the suffering. Origination means cause. When we talk of the word origination, we're talking about a cause coming out of the mind. The craving comes out of the mind. Clinging comes out of the mind. And that's what we have got to look out for. We are going to see these things in action as we fabricate the craving and clinging. And ideally, we get to the point where we don't have to do them anymore. You cannot stop an action unless you actually see the actions as an action. Something that you have chosen to do. Something you can choose not to do. And that's how insight resolves around every issue. There is a state of oneness, a state of what they call neurotic breakthrough, where there is suddenly a great relief as we put down the burden of the old world or the old world view. You can have a sense of pressure or the present experience along the way. The whole purpose of the meditation is actually to watch ourselves in action. As the Buddha say, intention is a kamma, and kamma or action is coming out of the mind or intention. So we are actually sitting here and watching our action. We are finding the Dhamma by committing ourselves to practice of the Dhamma and then reflecting on it, watching what we are doing and perfecting it from there. And that is the real work of the meditation. And this is a large source of the insight. It's not something that we simply get out of the way before we get to the great experience. We look at ourselves more and more as we are engaged with intention until we understand what it means to have an intention and how the intention to create a state of becoming power that create a place in the mind. If we get attached to that place, we are trapped in the parameters of how space and time relate to that place. And this is all because of our action. So what do you think? Meditation is something we do and something we watch for ourselves. The commitment in the doing and the sensitivity in the reflection will allow us to see the things that will open up a new dimensions in the mind. I am right? So we have got to do the work. Commit ourselves to keep on doing meditation. It will be simply getting better at reflecting on our mind as we do it. And that's how we learn from what we see. And that's how the meditation will give us the best result. I was thinking something in my head right now, thinking of three kinds of discernment. The discernment that come from listening and discernment that come from thinking. There is also that discernment that come from developing a good qualities through the practice, through the practice of the meditation. You can listen to the Dhamma and you get right view on the level of listening. And that's how it's pointing you to the practice. You can think things through as you come up with the difficulties in the practice. But developing is what really gets discernment going. It makes them yours. Otherwise, you're just borrowing other people's discernment. Or as long as we are in the position where we have to borrow someone else's discernment, at least we borrow the Buddha's discernment. But ultimately, we want to get to the position where we can produce our own discernment. You can depend on it. It really has been tested and fine honed by our practice. But that's when it's really yours. Once it's really yours, that's when you begin to let it go. But you can still use it. After Buddha's awakening, even though the Buddha said there was nothing in him that was fastened to any views, and he still taught right view. He still went out and argued with people who taught the wrong view, especially the wrong view that concerning action. There's something that we have got to hold on to first. We have passion for the form. It's what getting us into the right concentration. If you don't have a pressure that comes from the first jhana, then no matter how much you know about the drawback of the sensuality, you are not going to be able to let it go. You are going to keep coming back, coming back. So to overcome the sensual passion, we have to develop passion for the form first. And that's how we can let go of the forms. And then we can have passion for the formlessness, arupachana, a dimension of infinitude of the space, the infinitude of consciousness, vinyananjayatana, the dimension of nothingness, akinchanyayatana, and finally dimension of neither perception or non-perception, which are the levels of the highest concentration that we can get into because we enjoy them. There is delight there, passion, desire, delight. With a lot of the pressure of the world, the real pressure is not so much in the pressure itself, but in the delight we take in it, anticipating how good it's going to be, and after it's done, that's how we talk to ourselves about how great it was. And this can be our way of encouraging ourselves to look for it again and again. So the delight is actually one of the accompaniments of the craving. It is what nourishing craving. And in the most cases, craving is a bad thing that leads to the suffering. or making a dedication.
สัพเพสัตตาอเวราโหนตุอัพพยาปชาโหนตุอนีฆาโหนตุสุขีอัตตานังปริหะรันตุอรหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภควาพุทธังภควันตังอภิวาเทมิบาสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมสสามิบาสุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามิบา
Thank you so much for joining this class. I wish you all having a great night. See you next time.